All right, what's going on, world? This is Antoine Matthews with another episode of Cyber Chat. I'm here with my main man, Zaccheri Brown, you know, military veteran, salute, thanks for your service. Now he's working in cybersecurity. Hey, Zach, you want to go and tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, man. So, 7 years Navy. I did IT in the Navy. I did a wide variety from help desk, blue team, network administration, and then I moved into working in cyber in the contracting world. And it's been all right. So I'm here.
That's so, man. You started your IT career when you were in the military, right?
Yes, sir.
So can you talk to us what that looks like? Like, what exactly were you doing when you had that job in the military?
Yeah. So for all those, I'll start from the beginning for those who want to understand if you're young and you're trying to get into it. But when I joined, I wanted to be in IT. That was explicit. Like, I went to my recruiter. I said, I want to be in IT. They said they didn't have it. I said, I'm not playing. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll wait until you have it. And they had it eventually. So I did it. But what they do, they send you to A school. You get the basic training. And then I went to the fleet and I started pretty much doing network security, help desk, not network security, help desk. So I was doing trouble tickets, A+ level stuff for all those in the field. So I was doing that for a while. And then I moved up after I got enough knowledge to network administration. So I did network administration on a carrier for a couple of years. And after that, I got blessed to be able to come to San Diego and move to doing blue team assessments. So I was doing blue team assessments all over the West Coast area. And I was able to take all that coupled with, I went to school while I was in, and I got my bachelor's in IT management. And I was able to take that and get a job as cybersecurity outside of the Navy, and literally stopped going to work on Thursday, went to my new job on a Friday, and it was there.
Man, so you walked out of the uniform and into the IT world as civilian. That is crazy, man. So I know you kind of zoomed past the military, man, in terms of your intro, but while you were in there, what kind of training did you do? Like, did you have any kind of certifications that they were able to give you, or you earned while you were in the service?
Yeah. So I started when I did my A school training, I did a kind of like an accelerated program, which meant I had to sign more of my life away. But, I got my little 6 off, but I did a A+. I got my A+ cert first, and then I got Security Plus right after that. So I had both of those coming out of like being in the Navy for like less than a year. And then I took that to where I was going. I got other trainings, like I have Linux Plus now and stuff, but that was the base training that I got. And then, I mean, from there, those trainings is cool, but you got to actually get the experience. That's where it matters, when you start to be able to see trends and be able to pull on some historical stuff in your mind and say, hey, look, I've seen this problem before. Way back when, I kind of have an idea of what's going on. I think that's the stuff that makes you successful and makes you actually really effective in the cyber world.
Yeah, no, I could definitely understand that. Like you said, certification. And that's the reason I brought that up is because when I was in the military, I heard about certifications, but that was my first job in the military. I didn't understand what a certification was. So for you to go out there and actually get it, but like you said, it's so important to get that experience with it, Yeah. And right now, like, so you started off on help desk, and right now you transition, like you said, before you got out, you went to the blue team. Was that already something that you wanted to do, or did it just kind of happen naturally?
I think a little bit of both. I had applied. Skip that. My wife wanted to come out here. Let's start be on the West Coast. So that was important. So it was an opportunity to do blue team, and I knew somebody that did it I was in Virginia. I'm from Virginia initially, and I was out there. Somebody out there did it. They kind of was like, it's a good look, and it's a good opportunity for career progression, but also it's a good opportunity to kind of see different things in the field, because you're going to different people's ships. You're going to different sites. So I went to Hawaii to do assessments, San Diego. I mean, out of the area, we went to Japan. It wasn't uncommon to go all over. So to me, I'm getting free travel off top, and I'm going to stay in a hotel. I'm not going to be on no dirty ship. So it was a W, you know what I'm saying? So
man, you going down the ships like that? They ain't that bad, are they?
That's a big no for me. Yeah, like I got the ability to go do it. And then on top of that, when you're going out in the field, you're seeing different things. So you're learning because you're with the network administrator of that network while you're doing this assessment. You're asking them questions. So you're really getting a rundown of a network, and they're explaining it to you. So you learning all these different things really quick. So it allows you to be able to take that in the future and say, I've seen this before. I know what this is, or write it down and have it in your your IT back pocketbook kind of thing. And it's like, okay, let me look through my book. I think I've seen something like this before. And troubleshooting becomes quick. Troubleshooting becomes actually looking through a book now instead of thinking, and frees up time for you to kind of like, switch your brain around and do different things. But it was definitely great for career progression and definitely great for experience.
Yeah, man. No, well, you talking about the IT experience. I'm just thinking about all the traveling you got to do. Yeah, for real. So no, that's cool. So you got the experience doing that. And just for the people that might not, because we got people at all levels in terms of IT in here that don't know what the blue team is, or can you like walk us through like some of the scenarios that you came across while you were doing that?
Yeah. So long story short, each place that has a network in the Navy, which at this point is anything and everything, they have to upload their network, I guess, security package. It's pretty much just a scan of the network to say where they are. Now, Blue Team looks at that and says, hey, this person's kind of under par, or they might need some help. Let's go look at them. So we would fill these packets out. And then based on the package, we would contact them, and then we would set up time to go. So once we get there, a Blue Team assessment is effectively just, we're letting you know we're going to look at your network, so you're going to help me get in it. You're going to answer my questions, and we're going to try to get you to baseline or as close to baseline as possible, so that when you ever have an inspection in the future, you're good to go. That's the purpose of a Blue Team assessment. The benefit of all that, though, is that these people who are network administrators, you're getting training from them, and it's like a two-way street. You're both receiving training. So I'm showing them what they're supposed to be, and they're showing us where they are, different kinks, because everything is different in the IT world. There's always like nuances to networks. It's just the way the game goes. So it's a lot of cool stuff, but I think that doing those assessments, learning the information definitely took my abilities to the next level, and definitely made me a viable candidate in the work market outside of the military.
Got you. Yeah. So like, man, it just sounds like everything is coming together, like on your end, like the way you got into it. And then it's like every day you learning something new. That's the one thing I learned about IT is like, you can't stay stagnant. And I'm not a network person, but it sounds like every person I talk to in a network, they got their own nuances, the way they do stuff. So I can only imagine all the different infrastructures and setups you done seen along the way. And with that in mind, with you going into, a civilian role, like how similar, are the things you're doing right now, or at least the things that you're experiencing, compared to what you did in the military?
I don't know. It has some similarities and some differences. I work as a contractor, so I have contact with military people, but I mean, it's outside the realm. So I'm working with some people who've never, ever been in, you know what I'm saying? Like the only time they encounter military people is if necessary during work. So the environment's not vastly different, but it's different. The work is similar to an extent. But I think that the training and all kind of prepared me to be prepared for that. And, being in the military, you already know, like being in the military, prepared, semper gumby, you know what I'm saying? Be flexible and be prepared for something random. So
man, flexible. When I grew up, they said, hey, be fluid, because flexible a little too rigid. Yeah. You got to move with the waves.
Whatever.
So man, no, so this is cool. So right now I would assume that you saying that if people go into the military, definitely look into IT, because that's what it sounds like on my end. And then with you having your military experience and then having your degree, how did that help you? Or actually, did you use like your tuition assistance where you were in to get your degree, or how'd you do that?
No, I paid out of pocket. I'll explain why though. For a lot of people be like shocked, like, listen, I did it because I'm big on the concept of control in my own realm. So I don't like the concept of anybody having control over me. And where I was, your tuition assistance was based on the availability in the command, and then your evals and all these other things that kind of, to me, had nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. Because this is cool, but I have an end goal outside of this. You know what I'm saying? And the way I looked at it, if I can get this degree, then when I get out, I don't have to worry about having money. That's always been my concern in my life. Being able to be stable in control of my existence, being able to provide for my family, and being financially free to an extent. So I paid for that off the top. But after I got out, definitely using that GI Bill to get this master's. So I gotta run it up. I gotta get everything I can get, and I'm gonna drain it dry.
Yeah. So look, I want to make sure y'all hear that. Like he said, when he was in, my man got the degree on his own buck. You know what I mean? Because you got to have a plan when you get out. I was an admin when I was in the military, and I don't know how many of my dudes thought they was set, you know, hey, I got a job lined up, or, you know, I got this coming through, and they weren't prepared. So obviously you got some of them same stories, I bet. But
yeah, I joined the Navy at 21. So for me, I had already been working for 3 years. I was going to school, I was going to community college, and I went to a 4-year university for like a year. Then that got expensive. So I was like, all right, I gotta reconfigure myself. And I went home for like a year and a half, 2 years, and I just started looking around, and I'm like, yo, what's gonna get me at 21 or 20? What's gonna get me where I want to be at 30? And I realized the military is the easiest path, no matter if you want to do IT or anything else, reality. Like, you can do whatever. You want to be an mechanic, or you want to be, I don't know, even an admin. You want to work HR, because HR is big money if you get enough experience.
You maneuver, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it gave you the training. And that's the way I looked at it. I'm like, if you can just give me the opportunity, I'm maximizing. You don't got to do nothing for me. Let me take care of that. You just give me the chance, and I'm going to run with it.
Yeah, man. On that note, I want to tell people, one of the things I go by is the military is just another world inside of this world. Like 100%, anything that you can do on the civilian world, you can do inside the military. So if y'all thinking about it, you know, the people that's not in, and you might be 21 and trying to figure out what you want to do, like, man, give it some, you know, consideration. You know, I mean, you get the training, you get everything else you need, and you ain't got to worry about eating. I call it like another parent. They're going to make sure you got the food. They're going to make sure you got a job and somewhere to lay out, you know, whenever you tired. So, dog, we rocking. So how did you manage going to school, being in the military, and then whatever else you do outside of, you know, education and school and work at the same time?
I stayed up late. That sleep. That's it. That's the only way. My mom, shout out to my mom. My mom has a PhD, right? Single mom. She had me at 16. She got her PhD before I graduated high school, right? Going to school my whole life, right? Yeah. And one thing she told me, you have to sacrifice one of three things: your time, your sleep, or your money. That's it. That's all it comes down to. Mm-hmm. So you have to sacrifice one of them, and you have to be prepared to sacrifice. That's just how it goes. People think that life is supposed to be on a silver platter and be easy. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But you got to be willing to sacrifice. And I was willing to sacrifice at my younger time, sleep. So yeah. Now I'm older, I can sacrifice maybe money or time, but you know, sleep was something I was willing to sacrifice. And I told myself, I said, if I get to this point, then I can take a break. That's kind of how I looked at everything in my life. If I get to a point, I'll take a break for 3 months, and then I'll get my mind back right and get to the next step.
So for 3 months, not just I'm here for 3 months and we back at it.
We back, because it never stops. It's never ending. There's always another level. You know, in the contractor world, there's a cap on whatever anybody can get paid, like any job, right? But there's another level because people make more money than that. And just like millionaires, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is the level of work that person did. And the same thing with the next level. It's always a level of work and dedication. So if you're willing to take a break and say, all right, I see where I'm at, I'm cool, but I need more, it's time to get back in. And you got to use that focus and keep it going every day. Yeah. Man, now you got me hyped up. You're talking my language now. Like, hey, I remember hearing a story. I think it was about Emmitt Smith back in the day after he won the Super Bowl. They said, what you going to do now? It didn't say I'm going to go to Walt Disney World. He said, look, I'm going to sit down on this bench for about 2 seconds. I'm going to lift it off my chest, and then we back to work. You know what I mean? You always got to be going to work, man. So look, I don't want to move too fast, but let's take it to the tail end, because we got people that might, you know, they reaching their EAOS. They about to get out the military. Yeah. You had the layup, like what you said, the layup package, where you literally on Thursday, you said, I want to get this job. On Friday, you was there. Yeah. What are some of the things that you did to make sure that was happening? Like on your transition out, like, can you tell us what that last year was like in terms of figuring out what you wanted to do, looking for jobs and, you know, everything else? Perfect. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm passionate about it. So long story short, bro, everybody think they know what they're doing until it's time to do it. You know what I'm saying? And they're not taking the time to just look. The internet is available. I tell everybody this every time. I don't want to hear no excuses about nothing, because on the internet today, you can order food, get a degree, and I don't know, Skype somebody in another country all at the same time. So we have access to information that literally 99.9% of everybody who ever lived never did. So if we're not utilizing that to the maximum of its ability, then we're wasting ourselves, especially in this day and age. And being, you know, younger people, the way I looked at it was, all right, if I want to get where this person is, I need to figure out what they did to get there. So the first thing I would do is go on Indeed. What's the salary for jobs I want? I figured that number out. Cool, I got that number. All right, what are the requirements for 10 of these jobs in the area that I'm in? All right, make a checklist. What do I see on every list? I see these 5, 6, 7 things. Go get them, all of them, and then get a couple extras, right? Just load myself up. The way I look at it, be more qualified for a position than necessary, than be underqualified and have to like, dang, I got to go back and do this. I got to go do this.
Okay, let's fall back real quick. Let's fall back. So, because you just touched on something I think is really important, especially when I start talking to people and they bring up job applications. You know, it's always seems like it's way too many qualifications that you need before you get there. So what are some of the things that you kept seeing on these recs that you was like, I'm gonna go after it and knock it out anyway?
Degrees always one for me. The way I understand, if you look, they say a lot of things say degree, but some things say degree preferred, right? The way I look at preferred means I want it. It doesn't mean preferred. It's just saying preferred to some, but if you have it, that means you're ahead of whoever doesn't have it, right? So that's something. I always say get that, especially if you're in the military. They might pay for it, they might not. Don't worry about it. Get what you got to get. The next thing I would say is the experience. The military provides you a certain level of experience, and also there's veterans preference, which is like a legal thing. So if you're a veteran, you get preference for certain jobs. So that's automatic. That's 2 things you got under your belt. You haven't even done the extra steps. The next thing, cybersecurity, was at minimum a security plus. I got that, and then I went and got Linux because I understand that Linux and cybersecurity at times go hand in hand. When I was in Blue Team doing Blue Team assessments, we use Linux-based systems. So it was like, I mean, I might as well go get it. It's another notch under the belt. So I have these certs, I have this experience, and I have these certs, and I have this degree, which when you put it down on a package, it looks good. It looks like, damn, you look pretty all right. You could be stupid as a box of rocks, but you look stacked on paper. You look stacked, and that's what it comes down to, because before they meet you in person, they judge you on paper, and your personality doesn't shine through. I can write something really witty and comical. Doesn't matter. It's just paper, bro. But when they see these certifications, these degrees, this experience, that's when it translates to like, let's at least give this guy a phone call. And that's when you can sell yourself, because that's part 2. You got to sell yourself in the interview. You have to be somebody people want to work with. You got to sound upbeat. You can't be all draggy and sound sleepy. You know what I'm saying? You got to sound assertive, know what you want. That's what it's about.
Yeah, man. Dude, it's like I'm drinking coffee talking to you. You got me so amped up over here. But yeah, so you were seeing these things on these job recs, and you already came in like strong. So I want people to note it's not always, just a degree or always just a certification. Like, put these things together, and then obviously through the conversations that we have on this podcast, notice different ways you can get your experience. Like my man did his time in the military, and then that's experience. If you're a sailor or you in any branch of the military, take that. You know what I mean? He talked about paying for his own degree. We have tuition assistance. You got the GI Bill, or you got your paycheck. So you got different options right there. Outside of, just that little small pocket of resources that we talked about, is there any other resources or programs that you had, got involved in the military that kind of helped you along the way?
Yes. Listen, TAPS is a thing. People go to TAPS and don't listen. They be wasting a perfect opportunity. TAPS provides you with so many resources. They have a lot of mentoring programs. If you're not familiar with what you want to do, they have career development path programs. They have a program that actually mentors you and attaches you to Fortune 500 executives. They have a whole, like a bunch of stuff. Long story short, a bunch of things. I went to TAPS, took down notes, and signed up for everything. Every single thing they had. I went to the entrepreneurial program. I went to everything. And I just was soaking it up, because the way I looked at it, I remember being 21 and I had 2 jobs. I worked in a factory, and I worked at a call center, and I went to school, right? And I was working at least 10 hours a day, and I was going to school for about 7. So 17 hours of my day was occupied. I was still going home doing homework, and I was still in the streets. So like, I'm still talking to girls, trying to date, I'm out here doing all this stuff, and my time was being burnt. And I had looked at myself in the mirror and was like, bro, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I'm 21 and I'm tired. I know at 40 or 30, I'm gonna be extra tired.
Bruh.
So when I mapped out the plan at that time, or when I drew the play, I looked at myself and I said, what am I gonna need? And I told myself, don't squander any opportunity. That was my biggest thing. People squander opportunities, and then 10 years later, they look back and be like, man, I missed out on something. You can't never have that perspective. Everything is important right now, because right now, it dictates tomorrow. and so on and so forth. So every play that they had in the military, I took advantage of. I took advantage of military disability. I took my medical records to the disability program, and they'll give you, if you do it while you're in, within 6 months before you get out, you'll get your disability the month after you get out. That's big for some people, because that depending on if you get 100%, it's like $3,000. That's enough to foot your bill.
100, but that's a buck, man. Y'all pay attention. He's dropping gems, and I'm gonna speak off a reference because I didn't do this. Like I remember people telling me, man, fill your jacket. If you still in, listen to the old heads, listen to the Chiefs, listen to the Gunnies. These cats is getting ready to retire, and they'll tell you the same stuff that Zach just told you. I didn't do. It took me a year and a half after I got out to even apply for any disability. So look, I won't try to listen to this. That it still got as good because they retro pay you. So I got a fat check, but if I could have had it already taken care of when I got out, it would have been a whole lot smoother. You feel me?
It would have been.
Dude, so right now, like you live in a contractor life. So can you tell us like exactly what the role is of a contractor? Just tell us about it, man. We interested. We want to know, baby.
Hey, contracting life. So I mean, the way it goes, they put you on a project, depending on the time. 2 to 5 years, depending on the type of contract, and you just do the work. It's just like going to a regular job in an office, depending on what you do. What I do is I do scans and cybersecurity on test networks for laboratories. So I'm testing lab networks and all kinds of stuff, but that's sedentary. Some people's job in the contractor world might involve travel. So I work with people who go to Hawaii every couple of months, or they go to Japan, or they go to the East Coast, they go wherever. Like it's a lot of opportunities in the contractor world for those who are transitioning out of the military, especially in the IT field. It's one of the easiest things to transition right into, because a lot of that stuff, I will tell you this, if you in the IT field and a contractor comes to your shit, get this man number and his card straight up. Don't even, as soon as you say him, hey, can I get your card and your number? I'm trying to do what you do. Because a lot of people they're going to be like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Keep a rapport with people. You got to build up your Rolodex of individuals doing the same thing you want to do, so that when you get there, you have people to let you know what time it is.
Yeah. Build your game up, man. Build your team, stack it. You know what I mean? Talk to people, build these relationships. Like we vibing, right? We building relationships, and that's so important. I remember being in the military, and dig this, one of the coolest IT dudes I met, he was an IT one. He was at my command, he retired. A week later, this dude was back as a contractor making triple the amount of money he did when he was active duty, right?
100%.
Yeah, y'all make those connections. So now that you are like, what are some of the tools that you use, if you could talk about that, that when you're doing your job now?
ACAS, definitely a big tool we use. Vulnerator, another tool, and I'll tell you about those. Those are two of the main ones I use. ACAS is for security level scanning on networks. That's what we use. It's a big deal. There's no training for it. That's another thing in the contracting world. There's a lot of things that they have that if you don't have, you can't go to school for it. You have to have learned it in the military. And if you didn't, you don't know. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But those are two tools that just give you a breath of the network. And Vulnerator is a tool that it compiles information and puts it in like a readable format in an Excel document or in a PDF, depending on how you parcel it out. But it's a way to pretty much, from the data you use, because it's going to come out in some wild format, to put it down in a format that I could give to anybody that they could read it off to understand the situation, what's going on with the network. And from that's the basis of my work. Once that's done, then I can actually really get to work and see what needs to be fixed, what doesn't need to be fixed, what needs to actually be done, long story short. So
what's the coolest part about your job? Like what's that one thing that you do, whether it's in the role that you're doing right now, or are you trying to get to, like that's get you hyped, like this is why I'm going to work, this is what I signed up for?
I like scanning because you can see immediate gratification is big for me doing certain things, especially with work. So you could fix something and then scan it and see the difference. I fixed this and I can run a program that's going to tell me it's fixed now. Like, and that's a different thing. It's cool to see it. Like in help desk, I liked it because when you fix something for somebody, the level of gratitude they have because they can continue their workday. They're like, thank you so much, da da da, whoopty whoop. But when you do it on the thing and you can send it back to whoever's verifying, like, I got it right now, it's done. There you go. It's like, okay, you know what you're doing. It kind of gives you a level of pride, and it's cool because people are like, okay, we kind of figured out, we kind of know what he's doing with it. So I like that.
Nah, that's cool. That attaboys, like
Yeah.
Man, talking to you, it sounds like you got that drive to where you just want to accomplish stuff. I think I could be totally wrong, but it seemed like that's what it is. Like, look, I got it, and I'm gonna get it back. Like that's cool, bro. And so you a mover and shaker, dude. What do you see yourself like in the future when it comes to cybersecurity, or just in your tech career?
I'm working on my CISSP, so I'm trying to elevate. I'm gonna get my master's in I don't know, 3-4 months. I'll be done with that.
What you getting your master's in?
I'm getting an MBA because I need to understand the business. Now I know how to do the work. I need to figure out how you make your money because I need to. You have to give me
that. About to get the bag. Give me the bag.
All of it. I need everything that's all. I tell people this all the time because I work with people who don't have their disability, right? And I say, anything that has my name on it, I want it. I don't care what it is. I need that. Because you'll go through your life, and I've seen people struggle. And I'm like, and I've been in real struggle as a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've grown up seeing real struggle. So I don't want to see, so there's no point in me wasting money because I don't want to donate some of my time. People spend average, right, 8 hours on social media every day. But those same people won't spend 2 hours doing homework. So how can you complain to me about not having something? The way I look at it, whatever I'm doing needs to be spent maximizing my ability. Because if I work now, in 10 years, I might not have to work. And
be your own creative player. Be your own creative player. You know what I mean? Make yourself all them 99s. My man, get the bag.
I need every cheat code too.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. So we got the masters and the MBA is coming up. You got your CISSP, you know, that you're working on right now. What resources are you using like to study for that? How are you preparing for it?
It's Udemy, UDEMR.
Yeah, Udemy. Yeah.
Udemy. If you go on Udemy, they have a lot of courses you can download for like, if you catch a flash sale, you can get a CISSP course for like $30, which is wild because anybody who's in the cyber field knows that course is, you pay $2,500 for real training and you can get pretty much virtual. It's the same training. They just recorded it. 15, 16 hours of training going chapter by chapter for $20, $30. That's invaluable.
That's man, sidebar. Like, so when y'all go on there, like sometimes they, like he said, they run they flash sales or whatnot. Do not pay the $100 for the course. Do not pay the $90 for the course. Like literally, you could go ahead and, you know, Google Udemy coupon discount code. And I don't think I paid more than $15 for any of the courses that I took. So on that note, do you think that it's important for people to do self-study? Should they do the boot camps, or like what's your take on that?
Whatever is the best form of method to keep you learning, really. That's my perspective because I learned differently. So when I studied, I used to buy dumps back in the day. And what I would do is I wouldn't use that to memorize, but I would learn what everything meant, understand the questions, and then understand all the answers. When you do that, the test doesn't matter because you know everything now. So I would go through 300-400 questions, just go through 100 questions a day, memorize the question, memorize all the answers, and understand what everything meant. Once you do that, the test is just walking through. It's an easy street breeze. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you have the bare bones to put yourself where you need to be. You can figure it out from there. So that's what I do. But some people need classroom study. Whatever is the best form of learning for you, do it. Period.
Learn how you learn, and that's a bar. Learn how you learn.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, the reason I asked is earlier you said like, hey man, some of these courses, man, these boot camps are expensive. You know what I mean? Like I go on Reddit a lot, you know, even YouTube a lot to see what people use. And some cats is like, yeah, man, I got my cert, but it cost me $2,500. You know what I mean? Like what you said, it's going to take you money or it's going to take you time, right? It might cost you a little bit less, but it's going to take some more of your time to go through them 16 hours though. You know what I mean?
Do not get finessed, please.
Yeah, man. And on that note, look, so I'm going for my CYSA coming up. I actually started studying for my CISSP. But what I'm going to do for anybody that's listening, look, if you are going for your CISSP on the strength of my man, Zach, if you reply to this podcast and just type in, put Zach's name, I'm going to send you a free study guide. Hey, right there. I mean, no finessing, just give it to you on the strength of my man so we can all study with him. I mean, make sure he passed this up.
Yep, let's do it. We got to elevate.
Yeah. So, man, this is cool, bro. So what are some things, what are some trends that you seeing in cybersecurity right now that kind of got your interest?
It's a lot of new stuff coming out. So AWS, not super new, but that's on the rise. You see a lot more people getting the AWS stuff, the cloud stuff.
Yeah.
Really getting into it. And I mean, Amazon's everything, really. You know what I mean? Like everything is Amazon. The pandemic really had Amazon running it up, going crazy. So if you could get your hands on it, and same thing with some Google search too. A lot of that stuff is different. In the contracting world, it's not as big at the moment, but in the future it will be. And you gotta, I think for a lot of people, if you're trying to do some new stuff, definitely do that. But like you said, this world is not stagnant, it's perpetually in motion. So you gotta be perpetually in motion to keep up with what's going on, or else you get left behind.
Yeah, 100%. So just to switch it up a little bit, man. So do you listen to any like cybersecurity podcasts? Like what you listening to when you doing your thing?
No.
Nah.
No cybersecurity podcast. I gotta be in the zone, man. I listen to music, or I listen to podcasts sometimes, just talking about, you know, general whatever, something to just keep me entertained, because I like to be locked in. If I listen to something too entertaining, I'm gone, bro. I can't. I'm locked into whatever they.
All right. So, man, all right, this is gonna be a new portion of the segment. Then, all right, what music you rocking with?
Listen, man.
The eyebrow came up. He about to give me the people's elbow. Let's get it.
Yeah. Griselda, big Griselda fan. So everything they got, you know, Conway, Benny, Westside, anything they got coming out. Don't laugh. I'm a big Joe Budden fan, but he don't make music no more.
Oh, so. Man, no, don't even front, man. I'll take you back to the first Move music, bro. Like, that's my man's in them. Come on, B. Let's not talk about this right now.
Everything. I love him. Everything he put out, fuego in my mind. You know, definitely that. I'm big on R&B, so Brent Fayez, I listen to him. I listen to a lot of jazz. That's like my study music. When I'm studying or doing homework, I listen to like Miles Davis or Coltrane or whatever. I'm big on that. Big on listening to jazz. I feel like that's like it's a vibe that we don't see as much anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like just listening. Like I got records, like actual records with a record player, and I listen to it. I listen to it on vinyl, and like, you know, I think it's a different kind of feel. You can intake it differently, and you realize, you know, people make beats with a drum machine. Yeah, cool, that takes effort, but these dudes is playing instruments, lots of them. You know what I'm saying? Getting into understanding the depths of it. I'm not a musician, but I have respect for people that use their technical ability to do something different. Even with art, that's why I have art behind me. I have art all over my room. I love art. Anything artistic I love, because I respect the level of effort it takes to do something groundbreaking in a sense. So but music, definitely Benny, Conway, Brent Fayez, Wale, Earth Gang,
Wale, my man,
Cole, all that.
All right, we on the same tip. So if I gotta throw in, man, my guy is Action Bronson, bro. Like Action Bronson is, he gave me the stink face, man. Hey, don't talk about my guy, man. Action, I've been on Dave East is my dude. Randomly, I've been listening to ASAP Rocky. That just came out of nowhere.
I used to like him when he did Everything Is Purple way back in like 2012.
You throwing it back. Okay.
Everything back then was cool, but then I have this thing about, if you get too famous, I feel like the content of your music changed. And like Wiz Khalifa, like Burn After Rolling, I used to listen to that every day when I was in college, every single day. And then like he started making Black and Yellow, I was like, yeah, I'm cool on you.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna agree with you on that. I think the last joint that I really rocked, man, it was probably my best summer in Dago, was Cushion Orange Juice. My favorite project by this dude.
That broke the internet.
Yeah, man, it broke everything, man. That was living for the summer for a minute. So, all right, man, like I don't want to get too far off topic. So, do you like, that's funny. So obviously you said when it comes to technical, like that's kind of like art. You know what I mean? Like it takes some kind of design, some kind of creativity behind that. Me, I know I want to be a red teamer. You know what I mean? That's my goal as pen testing. I think that take a lot of creativity and, you know, just kind of mastering that craft. Like how do you bring artistry into what you do at work?
You got to be creative, man. Things don't work. You got to figure out why. And sometimes it's being in IT, in my opinion, is being able to look at a problem from so many different angles. That's what it comes down to, because you troubleshooting something that it's not working at face value. The world in totality usually takes things at face value, right? That's why you can put a news headline up and people go bonkers, because they're not reading. They're not looking at it. You know, they're just looking at it for face value. And the same thing with these problems. You might click on you might be on, you know, you're on a network, nothing's working, right? Something as simple as the time being off on servers is the issue, but you are not looking at the problem. I don't know why this isn't working. So you know, you got to like step back for a second, go outside, take a little walk, come back in and say, all right, what's going on? Like, let me look on Google. Let me take the time to think outside of the box to find this problem. And sometimes it's simple. You'll be like, that's it. Because you just gave your brain the opportunity to not be consumed with the issue.
Yeah, yeah. Man, you touched on two things I like. First is take that time out. You know what I mean? Go in, get yourself a reset. Like being an artist or, you know, being to that world, that's the same kind of things you do. Like when I used to design websites and do logos for people. And sometimes you don't never know when it's done until you go to sleep for a minute. You come back 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or and the second thing is to actually, you know, knock the problem out. Like in your role, is it some, because we're talking about all good stuff right now. Like what's some, have you ever been in a position where things didn't work out? Like probably you pushed the wrong button, you broke something. And then how did you come back from that?
Hey, life's trial and error, bro. The way I look at everything, there's no losses, it's just lessons. So I broke some stuff before on the network, clicked the button, and like everything just stopped working, bro. I'm like, oh God. Like,
do you got a story, like a lightweight story you could tell us?
The time's a good example. So I was in the Navy. I was on watch. I had been on the ship maybe a year, right? And I'm on duty by myself, solo dolo. So I have to do network reboots, which is it's normal. And I'm on a carrier, so it's like 20 servers. It's not like a couple. It's a lot. I'm doing these by myself, 2 a.m. This is the last thing I do before I can go to sleep. Me and my wife at this time, but my girl at the time, we was about to go to drive from Norfolk to Charlotte the next day. Like we had plans. So I got to leave at 6. Like I got plans. And I reboot that network. I try to do some simple checks, like check the internet, check email. Nothing works, bro. The phone starts lighting up. Like, yo, this not working. Now it's 2 a.m. So first and foremost, why are you awake? But secondly, nothing's working. So I'm like, bro, we got a problem. So I'm in here. I sit down in the chair and in my head, I'm like, bro, like, man, I messed up. So I'm like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? Ain't nobody up. Ain't nobody that calls 2 a.m. on a Friday. Ain't nobody gonna be up. If they up, they ain't in the right state of mind to even talk to you about this. So I had to go through and I said, listen, so what was the problem? Particularly the biggest problem I was getting was the emails was not working. The email stores were just weren't working. People couldn't get on them, or they would try to get on, it wouldn't work. So I was like, all right, let me look. So I'm troubleshooting from 2 a.m. till 7:30 a.m. turnover time.
7:30.
It's 7:30. Turnovers are like 7:45 or 8 or whatever. So I'm literally up there. My eyes bloodshot red. I done drank like 6 sodas. I'm just trying to stay up. And I'm like going through everything. I done went through everything I could think of in my wheelhouse at the time. And I was just like, let me look at I looked at the time on one of the servers and it was off, like way off. And I'm like, it's not right. And then I looked at another one. I'm like, hold up, that's not right either. They were all off, bro. The time was off. So I fixed the time. Everything started working. At that moment, everything worked. And it was crazy because I had my chief in there. He was like, no, you can't fix it. It's fine. I'll just call somebody. We'll get somebody up there. Just come out here. I'm like, no, just give me one last chance. And that was what did it. You know, I got everything back. And I walked off that ship like I was the man.
Yeah. No, because you was the man. Tell them anchors to fall back. I got this.
You have to chill, bro.
Nah, man, that's a crazy story. And I think it's important for people to hear that, bro, because everything ain't peaches and cream. No matter how much experience you got, things happen, bro.
It's always something new that's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, bro, what is this? How do I fix this? How do I overcome? And reality, like I said, you gotta be, flexible, like we said. But also, I tell people, don't take stuff to heart, bro. Like everything in life is a lesson. It's no losses. It's just lessons and wins. So you learn enough that when you win, it matters because you did all the steps prior to get yourself to that level.
Yeah. Man, that's a good segue. I was going to ask you, have you ever dealt with imposter syndrome?
What's that?
Like, all right, I'll give you the perfect example, right? So this is my first cybersecurity job. And I let everybody know that. That's why I'm going extra hard to let people know, hey, look, let me help y'all on, like get y'all put on. So the first week in my role, and mind you, I've been working actively at this for 2 years, going to school. Like I'm doing Hack the Box. I'm doing all this IT stuff. In the first week, my man hit me and says, hey, I'm gonna need you to drive up to a client and install a server. Mind you, I had been working for 2 years to get to this point, and then it hit me with, hey, look, this is your job. Yeah. And in the back of my head, I was like, can I do this? Like, I know I'm prepared for it, but can I do this? Am I supposed to be in this role? So it kind of like, I had to take that breath back, that, you know, like you said, take my 5 minutes and be like, I got this. So that's pretty much what the imposter syndrome is. Like, you feel like you're there, but you shouldn't probably be in that situation.
Every time. I mean, all the time. Because it's always somebody that in the contractor world, right? Like, I'm probably one of the 2 or 3 youngest people I work with, right? Everybody I work with is like 37, 38, 40, older than 40. So I'm working with people who've been doing this since I've been in high school. Like, they've seen the changes. They know everything about it because they've been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years. So I'm coming in only having I have my military experience, but now in the civilian side in the contracting side doing exactly what I'm doing, I don't have as much. So a lot of people kind of, they look at you a little funny. And to me, the way I look at it is like, I'm in here doing the same thing you do. I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? Every day. And all you can do is give your best effort. Like, people gonna always have a perspective because in the field, like we said, it's a lot of introverts. It's a lot of people who their job is their life. Being a senior, whatever, is the most important thing to them beyond anything. And that's it. But like I said, when we go to Walmart, we just shoppers. We all the same people. So that's irrelevant, bro. I'm in here just trying. And if I fail today, that's cool because I can try again tomorrow. Until I'm fired, I'm gonna keep trying. That's it, bro. And if you fire, guess what? There's always somebody else that's gonna come back and pick you up. And if not, just keep grinding because at the end of the day, life don't end. If you're not dead, then you gotta keep going. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I tell people, so look, the world spin every day, right? And you get people that say, man, you know what? I just don't feel right. Like, I've been stagnant, or, you know what that is you staying still while everything is literally moving around you. So you need to speed up, bro. You know what I mean? Stay on your hustle and keep it going. Dude, this has been a fire conversation, man. Let's end on a good note. So I don't want to end up with the imposter syndrome. That can't be the last thing we talk about. So, you got the MBA coming up. You got the CISSP. Like, if you were, since we talked about a lot, let's go back to that person that's just now starting off. Are they getting ready to get out of the military? What would you say if you had to go back and do it all over again? Are you had to tell them, hey, look, do this exactly. This is my layup package. What would that look like? What would you say? All
right. Let's say we're gonna start at 18. If a kid, 17, come to me, I'm about to graduate next year. What should I do? I'm gonna tell them, if they tell me they want to be an IT, I'm gonna say, listen, join the military. Here's the simplest set of steps. Join as an IT. Do your 4. Don't sign for 6. Don't get finessed. Do your 4. Put your deductions for your TSP, which is retirement for those who don't know, up as high as possible. Because this is 4 years of grinding right now. So you're gonna put this up as high as you could possibly get it, right? And you're gonna go, once you finish your training, get to your first ship, you're gonna map out. Let's say you want to do cyber, everything that you're going to need to be a cybersecurity professional at the highest level when you get out. So you're going to put Security Plus, you're going to put your CASP, you're going to put Linux Plus, because it's always good to understand Linux because you're going to have to work with it at some point. You're going to put your CISSP, and I would suggest people to get the AWS Security Cert or Cloud, either one of those 2, right? I would say to get all those, right? That would be my 5 that I would say focus on. And in that time, every 6 months, study for a cert, get a cert. And in that time, you can still go to school. People act like you can't do both. Like, you can do a lot of things, right? You can talk on the phone, drive a car, and eat a sandwich, but you can't study for 2 things. You do it all the time. So I would say definitely go to school while you're in that time in those 4 years if you have the ability, but you always have the ability if you want it. It's all about wanting it. At that 4-year point, you're 22, you get out, right? Pull your TSP. That's your starter money, right? That might be 15, 20 grand. You got 20 grand right here on the side starter money that you just pulled because you're out of the Navy. Pull your TSP, file for your disability paperwork, no matter your percentage. So now you have a pool of money to start off with just in case you don't have a plan. But if you have let's say you have those certs and you're still a little bit shy of your degree, you can at least get started, right? That money is a starting point. It's a safety net for you to move forward in your life. And that's really the layup package because at 22, you at a place where you have disability, which is going to be guaranteed income. You have a GI Bill, which means that let's say you don't even want to go to work. Let's say you want to continue to pursue your degree and you want to get a master's in cybersecurity, or you want to get all the certs you can before you start working, whatever you want to do, use that GI Bill to offset with your disability. And that's your living expenses, bro. And you created the lifestyle you wanted to live at 22. At 22, you can literally chill at the crib, go to school online and kick it.
Yeah.
and just do what you need to do. So when you start working again, or if when you get to that point where you're ready to go into the field, you have a lot of stuff under your belt and you're financially stable. So now at 20, by the time you're 30, 40, 50, you don't have to do the stuff that you see a lot of people do now, which is, I had to do a new career change. I had to start from the bottom again. Right. Bro, you 30, you have 10 years experience. You killing people, like killing people. You're in places and in rooms where people are going to be looking at you greasy, but guess what? I've been doing this as long as you, if not longer. And that matters. And I have the certain documentation to prove it. And I have the experience to prove it. So now you become a viable candidate in every market. And everybody likes somebody young and ambitious because they know that they're going to be willing to do stuff that other people won't. So I'm telling you, that's, in my opinion, that's what you got to do if this is what you want to do with yourself. And it's the easiest way. And on top of that, you're going to be in the military, you get to travel, do all kinds of wild stuff. So,
man, like you just got me smiling, bro. Like this is what they needed. This is what the people needed for 100%. So what's a question that you wished I asked that I didn't? Good.
Now, I think you asked all the stuff that was important to me. It's definitely expressing to young people to, like, I'm not telling everybody go in the military because that's not the answer, obviously. But if that's something in your wheelhouse, if you're thinking about it, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people out here who know a lot of ways to make money. I'll tell a quick story. I had a friend who was in the military together. He was probably in the military for 2 years with me. I don't know, he had something, I don't know, something that's not real, as I would say. But he got 100% disability. He got out. He used his GI Bill. He started a business, and that was it. So at 19 or 20, he had a business, and he's been good since.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, a lot of people don't, like, these are the stories you hear about people that you don't think are realistic till you meet people like this. You come across them in their whole lives, but this dude drew up a play at 17, and he executed at 19. And that was the start. That was the foundational building block of his financial lifestyle, in a sense, to be able to live a lifestyle where he can take his kids to school every day and pick them up. That's a big bar for some people. Some people don't do that. They can't spend time with their kids.
That's a huge bar. Yeah, especially if you've been in the military, like you understand. I used to have, at that time when I was, I had a girlfriend and I'm my wife, I had to tell her, like, my time isn't my time. It's the military's time. So, like, to have that plan drawn up, and man, let's talk about the military, because I'm a big advocate about this. Like he said, we're not telling people to join up, but just on a side note, like, it's programs out there. So if you get a certification, if you're a veteran, like, the military will pay for some of these certifications. If your job don't do it, you might have to put the money up front. But if you send them the notification and say, look, I passed it, they'll reimburse you. So you got that certification for free. They do have the post 9/11, so you can use your GI Bill, but it's other programs, outside of that, that'll, if you got 1 or 2 days left on your GI Bill, then they won't even charge you for it. You eligible to sign up for these programs, and they'll pay for you to go to these schools and get these certifications. Like I signed up with the Institute for Military Veterans and their Families. I think that's what it's called. And they paid for me to go to Syracuse University and get all the training I needed for my Security Plus. You know what I mean? So listen to my man. He gave y'all the bars. If y'all in the military, listen to him. And if y'all thinking about it, considering it, definitely, pay my man some homage. And when y'all get to where y'all need to be at, shoot him an email. Let him know. Keep him up.
Definitely. I'll tell y'all just the simple fact. We don't run numbers because, people always like, well, what's the numbers? Listen, 100% disability, it's like around $3,000 if I'm not mistaken. In San Diego, if you're in San Diego and you're using your GI Bill and going to school full time, that's full E5BH, which is like $2,500. That's $5,500 before you even step out of your house to go to work. So think about the lifestyle you can live on that. Like at 21, 22, 23 years old, come on, bro. People out here working minimum wage, struggling, taking the bus, taking Uber. You're going to be able to afford, if not a house, a nice apartment, a nice condo, and a nice car.
For waking up. Yep. Just for waking up, bro. Like, that's what you need to realize. Like, and the cool thing about this is you still young when you do it. You still young. So I don't know how many times my wife calling me, man. She getting the vibe, she getting the energy. But like, it's dope for you to, like, be in a position, like you said, you young, you got the experience, you got the know-how, you in a good career, but on top of that, you ain't got to worry about at least $3,000. And even if you ain't got the whole 100%, like, I got a smaller percentage in 100, but I don't got to worry about my rent. I know at least every month that's taken care of. Like, bruh.
Yeah, that's a safety net. That's a safe. I tell people that's your safety net. That's your fallback. Let's say all hell break loose in your life. You lose your job, your girlfriend leave you. you can pay your rent. That's all that matters. You got a place to lay your head. You ain't homeless.
Yeah.
So you starting from where other people, because this pandemic, you know, for real, took a lot of people out. A lot of people wasn't prepared, and it took them out the game. And there's a lot of people who had that, and it kept them in the game. You know what I'm saying?
On a side note, because I know that was something else I was thinking. So what's the I don't want people in your pockets, but like, what are some of the, you know, the salaries or the pay that people can expect, you know, if they go the contractor route once they, you know, in IT?
In IT, you got like newer people, maybe between like 80 to 100 initially. And then you talk about like higher level, 100 to 150 for real. That's like higher level IT lives. That's how much these dudes make.
Right.
Now, you in the West Coast and San Diego, it's more expensive. You in the East Coast, it's what, I mean, similar prices, but similar pay scale. But you're gonna be definitely making a living. You know what I'm saying? Because out there, you know, cheaper, you can live different.
Bruh, so look, man, this is what like y'all can really do this lightweight. My man gave y'all such a plan. Like, look, the number one thing when it comes to all of these, and I had to experience when it comes to these applications and getting these roles, is the experience. You get in the military, you got a light 7 years experience, whatever you might have signed up for just on GP. Now he said 80,000 to start off, depending on where you at, but that's still a lot. Y'all got to think about that. And if y'all listen to everything else my man told you, match that with the GI Bill just for going to school. Match that with a disability. Mm-hmm. You living.
You got money. You good, and you in a place. Like I said, I remember I used to work 2 jobs, and I was going to school, and I ain't never had no money, bro. I'm talking with this pocket full of change, trying to get a McChicken and a small fry. That's all I got. Trying to, you know, with the little bit of gas I got left in my tank until tomorrow. Like, I'm on payday vibes. You know, I'm struggling. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that. And I always remember that every day I wake up, because I remember waking up at 2 a.m. to go work at a factory with no heat. I'm in Virginia, so it's snowy. It's snow in the winter. 2 thermals on, Timbos, everything.
2 thermals, man.
5 hours, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm leaving the factory. I'm going to the house, take a shower, and go to school from, I was working from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the factory. I would go home and go to school. I had to be to school by 9. So I'm taking a shower. It's a quick turnaround. And I'm in school from 9 to 2. I'm coming home. I'm doing homework. And I had a job that worked 5 to 10 at night. I'm doing this every day. Every day.
Yeah, that's
barely making it. Barely. And that was my motivation. Like, this will not happen again. You know what I'm saying?
That's your why. That's you got your real why. You got a real reason, because, you know, dude, that's crazy. When I was in sales, like, I love sales, even when I was in the military. So when I was in the military, I was looking at, like, I wanted to go the officer route. You know, I was gonna do the whole 20. And to be real, man, I noticed a lot of them cats, they was like married to that career. Like, they marriages them fell apart and everything else. And that was one of the things to say, like, I can't do this. I mean, or even in sales, like, you know, like, obviously I did really well in sales, but then you see older people and they, like, you know, you either do really good or you do really bad. And it's like, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. I mean, like, IT is, I think, is really cool. Like, even obviously I like the cybersecurity side, but, you know, just the fact that you have a skill set, like how you said, get those certifications. You know, you was preaching AWS earlier. People can also go to Azure route. I did want to ask you about the Google search, though, because I hear about that a lot. But, like, is that like a legit route to take for somebody that's kind of curious about certifications?
Google offers free training. That's the first and foremost thing. I don't know if they still do it, but they did. I have a sister, she's 16. I said, you better get these Google certs. They teach you how to run Google AdWords and everything for free if you do some of their trainings. They were doing that during the pandemic. Now think about that. If you're running Google Ads, you get a Google AdWords cert, right? You could go work for a content creation company. You can go work for a marketing firm in their ad department running Google Ads, like, for free, bro. Like, what you waiting on, brother? You gotta go get that money, and that's a simple way. People, like I said, people will complain. You'll hear 100,000 people say they can't do this, they can't do that. You go on the internet and look for opportunities. They're there. They just require work that people ain't willing to put in. They rather sit on Facebook and watch YouTube. Yeah, man.
Hey, you know what? Everybody out there, get up and get after it, bro. Like, man, I wish you, like, we talking about Antoine Matthews right now. I wish you, my alias is Motivated Matt. That's what they call me, bro. Like, for real. And that's my whole number one thing, man, is get after it. Everybody got the time. Like you said, you could sit down and talk on the phone all day. Like, I use the Creative Player because I don't play video games, but I know people that spend 6-7 hours a day, but they ain't got no other time to do nothing else. Like, man, get up. start with your plan. Like my man said, he gave y'all he just gave y'all the game. Like we could have bottled this up and charged y'all for it for real. But yeah, you see that? I'm pretty sure my man would have turned down some extra pesos. But dude, all right, man. We've been on this. It's almost an hour, dude. It's been an awesome conversation. Can you tell the people where we can connect with you? Obviously I rock LinkedIn, but tell them all your social plugs, everything.
I'm only on LinkedIn, bro. I ain't got time for nothing else. That's it. If it's not about what I'm on a straight path to my to what I'm trying to do. So if you're not on that path, I ain't got time. Straight up. But I'm on LinkedIn. So you'll have this on the pod. You'll have the link, at the bottom of this. But if definitely hit me up if you need some guidance. I'll definitely take the time to talk. I'm pretty social, holla at you. I'll definitely help guide you if I can. Plug you up because it's important. It's important that we network with people doing the same thing. We can hang out with people who want to sell shoes and kick it. Hang out with people that want to, have the similar interests socially. But when it comes to this money, especially in this climate, yeah, I'm ready to link on that. So if you talking about some money, let's do it.
Yeah. Hey, man, we already here for us. This is my man, Zaccheri. Man, thanks for your time, bro. You lace the people. Hey, everybody, make sure y'all connect on LinkedIn. Get with them. And this is another bar. If you are in the military or you a veteran, man, utilize the premium accounts. It's free. And the premium also comes with the LinkedIn Learning that has those courses for those certifications. So once again, we signing off. This is your boy, Antoine Matthews with Cyber Chats. We out.